On Joy News Prime tonight, passionate appeal from Nigeria for Ghana to reopen land borders as traders and businesses who use them count losses.
I want to make an appeal to Honorable Speaker concerning the closure of borders. The issue of the opening of shops of Nigerian traders has been resolved amicably.
Tonight, we have a trade expert's perspective on the impact of the land border closure on businesses. Also in this bulletin, authorities of National Health Insurance condemned the practice of demanding monies from pregnant women for medical treatment. We'll hear from the Ghana Medical Association.
So the health insurance doesn't cover drug
This is private health insurance. It covers when you go for consultation, but not to buy the drug.
It only covers consultation.
In Parliament, minority rally behind embattled Boga East MP Dominic Ayene as it demands the Chief Justice reconsiders the decision to haul him before the General Legal Council over contemptuous comments.
We are therefore calling on the Chief Justice to reconsider his requests for Dr. Ayene to appear before the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council.
We're live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air on GoTV channel 144 and DSTV channel 421. We are your home of independence, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. My name is Aisha Ryan. Do stay tuned in. And thanks so much for choosing us. The acting Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana, Gambo Yusuf Hamza, has made a passionate appeal to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Bagbin, and the Parliament of Ghana to intervene in order to have the country's land borders reopened. The acting High Commissioner says traders and businesses who ply these land borders have had their businesses adversely affected by the closures, and this has slowed down economic activities, which has in turn affected the revenues governments generate from these borders. Mr. Gambo Yusuf made the appeal when he led a delegation to pay a courtesy call on the Speaker of Parliament to discuss issues of mutual cooperation between the two countries.
I want to make an appeal to Honorable Speaker concerning the closure of borders. The issue of the opening of shops of Nigerian traders has been resolved amicably, but being people that have one or two issues, a number of issues which they are appealing to us to resolve, we are appealing, the High Commission is appealing to the Ghanaian government to see to the reopening of the border so that our petty traders, those that could not afford a flight ticket to travel to Nigeria, will be able to ply the road and do their petty trading. And it will also help the Ghanaian petty traders going to Nigeria to buy their items. In as much as I know that these borders were closed due to the pandemic of COVID-19, which is a very good thing to do. It's a very good thing to do, and we quite support the initiative of the Ghanaian government to close the borders. But what we want to appeal to is, while we are observing the COVID-19 protocol, we should look at the plight of those that are being incapacitated by not being able to travel by road. This is just an appeal. I'm not challenging the Ghanaian government decision in any way. What I'm appealing for is, since the borders are closed due to COVID-19 pandemic, maybe the government may wish to devise means. I cannot tell the government what to do, maybe to devise means of checking people at the borders going in or coming out of the country. So another thing, Honorable Speaker, which I want to appeal to the government is the issue of residence permit, the money being charged for residence permit, we feel we are appealing to the parliament to look at it in a bit, to review it, because we believe that if it is reviewed, more Nigerians, I want to believe once it is reviewed downwards, more Nigerians will be able to pay and renew their residency.
On its part, the Speaker, Alban S.K. Bagbin, assured the delegation of his commitment to see the 8th Parliament live up to expectation. He says the many artificial borders created by our colonial masters must not serve as an impediment to sub-regional integration. Alban Bagbin urged African leaders to rise up to the challenges confronting the continent and implement solutions that will improve the socio-economic conditions of Africans.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives of Nigeria, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiela, got in touch with me. We had a virtual meeting, and then he's been from his office, getting in touch with my office on personal connections, and we're working towards getting all these issues resolved. We have looked at the parliamentary perspectives, where Parliament will have to intervene to amend some laws, to be able to effectuate the decisions that are being taken. And Parliament is ready and willing to do so. So it should not be a problem. From time to time, even when you have your lovely wife, then sometimes you don't fight. The marriage, it becomes boring. The way God has created the world, God has created a free world, unlimited, not constrained by anything. And so has God created the human being. We should not be creating artificial barriers. We should allow human beings and the countries to flow. There are advantages and disadvantages in everything. But the truth is that God has created the differences in us. And we must all recognize that God has created those differences in us and agree to work along those differences. When we had, before the 69 Aliens Compliance Order, the commercial and trading sector of our country completely taken over and dominated by people who had migrated from Nigeria, and then the Lebanese and the Syrians. Then that time a few Indians had come, but they were in the trade, and those were their strengths. That is what God has done to them, and that is where they excel. Unfortunately, some people look at it with some eyes.
Let's get on to Zoom for more on this. Richard Ampabing is a trade expert. He joins me right now for this conversation. Mr. Ampabing, I'm grateful for your time. What has been the impact of the closure of land borders on trade so far?
Well, I hope you are talking about the land borders which have been closed.
Yes.
And if it is so, the impact in terms of revenue cannot be quantified. And if you ask me, it has rather even helped in raking more revenue. If you look at last year revenue of Ghana Revenue Authority, they even exceeded target. And this year is looking very, very bright. So in terms of revenue, the closure of the borders to me is preventing cross-border smuggling. And as a result, a lot more revenue is coming.
What then do you say of those who depend on trading along those borders? That is their livelihood.
In other words, you are asking me, we have to allow smuggling. If that is the point, yes.
No, but we have border posts. There are people who do genuine business without going through the unapproved routes.
No, the point here is that, look, infrastructure in terms of transportation has improved a lot. And today, if you want to trade between Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, Ghana, Niger, in air transport is there, ship transport is there, but what is absent now, to me, is the road transport. But we must not look at the closure of land borders with only trade in mind. It goes beyond trade. Nobody has told me, but if you look at the actions of militant groups and cross-border crimes, this closure, in a way, has tamed it a bit in our country. And therefore, any attempt to stampede the opening of borders, to me, might cause more damage to the country than the revenue we are looking for, which, so far as my checks are concerned, the revenues are coming.
Definitely, there will be a time when the land borders will be reopened. When it does happen, what do you recommend as a country that we do to check our borders and keep it intact whilst we also advance trade?
That is what African Free Continental Trade Area is talking about, that we needed to harmonize our tariffs, talking about custom tariffs. If we did that, there will be no need to smuggle rice from Cote d'Ivoire to Ghana, rice from Ghana to Nigeria, rice from Ghana to Togo. These are the petty things which is disturbing trade in our sub-region. Always people take advantage of the other. Where what is cheaper, they send it to where it is expensive, and as such, they also dodge payment of duties. So harmonization, to me, if it happens, then we can open our borders, and also our security, the sub-regional security, must also collaborate and make sure that cross-border crimes are tamed. If we don't do that, I'm sorry, we open ourselves to all manner of crime.
I'm grateful for your time. Ebenezer, Richard Ampabing is a trades expert. Now, authorities of National Health Insurance have condemned the practice by some health facilities which demand money from pregnant women for the medical treatment. It comes after Corruption Watch discovery that in spite of the free maternal health care policy which makes medical treatment free for pregnant women registered onto the National Health Insurance Scheme, pregnant women with NHIS membership actually pay for covered services at the 37 Military Hospital, Mamprobi Hospital, and Mamobi General Hospital. Corruption Watch investigative journalist Francisca Enchel spoke to a woman who, after losing her child, did not have access to the corpse because she owed fees.
The policy we inherited was cynically described as cash and carry. That is, if you are not well, go to hospital, you don't have money. Even if you are lucky to get a doctor that would examine you and prescribe, it will be just a sheet of paper given to you, signed by him. Go and find the medicine. If you can't buy it, you go and die. The cash and carry. And we said no, that shouldn't be the thing for the people. So we really worked to introduce the National Health Insurance Scheme. Along the way, we also added the free maternity care.
Pregnant Nana, not her real name, is rushed to the maternity unit of the 37 Military Hospital in labor. She's a National Health Insurance Scheme NHIS subscriber, meaning she did not have to pay for anything under the free maternal health care policy.
The free maternal health care covers maternal health services from pregnancy to delivery and through to postnatals. So when a woman is pregnant, she's covered.
But what turned up was a total cash and carry affair, as she paid for covered services before being provided the needed health care upon arrival at the hospital.
So the health insurance doesn't cover drug
This is
treatment?
private health insurance. It covers when you go for consultation, but not to buy the drugs.
It only covers consultation. Hey,
Ghana
country.
Nana and her husband, a farm worker, lacked the finances to pay for the bills, so every bill given to them was followed by phone calls to relatives and friends to beg for money. As if that is not enough, the grieving parents were then hit with another news of the body being detained till a 1,064 Ghana cedis 17 pesos being the cost of staying in the neonatal intensive care unit prior to the death is completely cleared before a death certificate and clearance would be issued for the release of the corpse.
So after paying it,
you bring the receipt, bring the one and pick one.
okay,
They will give you the deserts.
okay.
The NICU bill was not the end of their trauma. While they grieved their loss, they were again confronted with where to find the financial help to settle the NICU and mortuary bills.
That is not right. That is not right. That is not right. So if somebody is admitted to a ward and something happens or the patient couldn't make it, the facility is supposed to submit a claim for the period that the patient was there, the medication that was given, the diagnosis that was given, and the facility should submit a claim and National Health Insurance will pay. There shouldn't be any reason where a body will be held that they have to come and pay before the body is released to the relative. It is not right.
Corruption Watch contacted the 37 military hospital for comments, but as at the time of filing this report, they had not granted an interview 6 weeks after submitting a request.
Let's get on to Zoom because General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Yankson, has joined us right now. Now, Doc, the death of this child brings into sharp focus ramifications of the underhand dealings of charging for a fee that has already been taken care of by the state. How concerned is the Medical Association about this development, indeed, which has resulted in the death of this little one?
Well, Asa, let me put it this way, that I'm not too sure about the circumstances surrounding, the full details surrounding the death of this child. So at this point, I cannot attribute it to, in quote, funds or otherwise. But I think that I'll say kudos to your investigative journalists for uncovering certain things. But I think that there could be more deeper things we need to look at. Having listened to the documentary, it is clear to me that we need to probe further to find out why the state of affairs, or this state of affairs. Reason is that clearly there seems to be a certain structure that you may describe as potentially a co-payment arrangement or payment for some services that either health insurance doesn't cover, or if the health insurance system covers them, then the question is, are there double payments? Let me put this caveat across that I'm not an employee of any of the three facilities that are or were part of this investigative piece, and I don't speak for them. I speak for the Professional Association of Doctors because we, as an entity, we are very, very particular about the healthcare of our people. And that is the more reason why we do the work and we take a lot of interest in all matters concerning the health of the people of Ghana. Now, clearly, from what I have listened to, we need to start looking at certain things. One, does the free maternal healthcare services that we want to provide for our people of Ghana truly exist? If it exists, to what extent are services paid for and what services are actually covered? And I think that it will be good for all of us to be made aware the entire gamut of services that are covered. Because not all, let's say, maternal-related matters are simple. Some are complex. And I know for sure that the health insurance doesn't cover for all kinds of complexities that may arise in the course of healthcare delivery. Now, if the policy is that there is true free maternal healthcare provision in this country, especially in our public hospitals, the next question we need to find out is whether the NHIA, as it is now, actually is in a position to pay for all the services that are provided. And if they pay, are they paying realistic fees for those services? Because if you don't pay realistic fees for services, clearly it will get to a point the system cannot cope and service provision will grind to a halt. How often or how timely are the services rendered for also paid for by the National Health Insurance Authority, knowing that it is very free? Because you cannot be running antenatal clinics, postnatal clinics, doing deliveries throughout the year, and sometimes maybe it may take you up to a year or more, sometimes 6 months, 9 months, 8 months before health facilities are reimbursed.
Now, how does the Ghana Medical Association intends to come in here to ensure that we get the clarity you're talking about and also ensure these things will not recur in our hospitals?
That is the more reason why I said kudos for the brilliant job, because this has brought this whole issue to the fore, and we need to be dispassionate about this and ensure that the right things are done at all levels. See, I was glad when I heard that the extra money, in quotes, being paid by our mothers, our sisters who are going for maternal care services were not going into the pockets of individual health practitioners or health professionals, but rather the funds were being paid directly into the hospital or the state's own account with the various banks that are the sites for service delivery in the various hospitals. All monies that are paid into these bank accounts, technically speaking, are monies for the state. The state has overall responsibility for it. Some bit of it may be repatriated to the facilities as part of their IGF reimbursement and what have you. So clearly, the system itself may have condoned or accepted this kind of practice one way or the other. And that is the more reason why for us as CMA, we want to take this up with the Ministry of Health and then see where the loopholes can be plugged. And it will also be fair for a full account of the extent to which services are free in the free maternal system so that we can all also get to know what it is. I know for sure that, for example, we can do a cesarean session that will cost you more than what the NHIA may pay. Or you may provide service that sometimes there are medications that ought to be purchased, which may not be on the list of NHIA drug list.
And definitely the clarity will set the matter or put the matter to rest. I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Justice Youngson. He's General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. Now, the minority in Parliament is urging the Chief Justice to reconsider his referral of Bolga East MP, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, to the General Legal Council. Addressing the media in Parliament today, Minority Leader Haruna Idris warned the petition undermines Ghana's democracy and the right to free speech. Dr. Ayeni told a CDD forum last month the Supreme Court failed to apply the country's laws and its rulings during the 2020 election petition, prompting the referral. But Haruna Idris says Dr. Ayeni was only exercising free speech.
We in the minority find the invitation to be in utter bad faith and meant to be an attack on free speech, on Parliament as an institution, and also as an affront to democratic and academic freedom. This invitation must also be seen to be an attack on freedom of expression, and it's only deepening growing concern about the creeping culture of silence in our country, which is gradually lingering its ugly head on our democratic dispensation, and therefore a grave threat to the sustenance of democracy in our country. We are therefore calling on the Chief Justice to reconsider his requests for Dr. Ayeni to appear before the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council to investigate the alleged statements in the interest of peace, national unity and cohesion, and more importantly, to safeguard our democracy.
We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. When we return, we'll bring you business plus sports and many more.
Welcome to Business. I'm Charles Ayatib. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, says he sees the Ghana Cares program as another government initiative to deal with rising unemployment as a result of COVID-19. The minister said this at a meeting with the visiting Vice President of the International Finance Corporation, Sergio Pimenta. George Rafi has more.
The meeting was part of the Finance Minister's plan to brief the International Finance Corporation, IFC, on measures that government has taken for this new initiative, that is the Ghana Cares program, which government believes will help transform the economy. Speaking at the program, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta noted that the Ghana Cares has the potential to turn things around and transform the economy.
About Ghana 100 billion Ghana Cares Obatampa program was then put in place, of which 70 billion is expected from the private sector. And this is the outcome which enables us to respond effectively to the pandemic and beyond. This is consistent with our resolve to create the most business-friendly, dynamic private sector, building up on our youth and a people-centered economy for the Africa region. We do this knowing that the private sector speaks of innovation necessary for Ghana to thrive, delivering close to 90% of the jobs, of which about 80% are from the informal sector, and most of the goods and services needed.
On his part, the visiting Vice President of the International Finance Corporation, Sergio Pimenta, expressed his office's commitment to support Ghana in these times.
Also very encouraged by your commitment to roll out vaccination, despite the shortages that are still real. And I'm sure that this type of meeting, over time, we will be going back to something that will be like a new normal, and we'll be able to, once again, sit together, think together, exchange ideas together, and build plans and partnerships together. For this interaction today, I'm really reassured to see that you've put in place a very clear plan for economic recovery, even before most vaccines were announced. That shows that Ghana knows where it wants to go. And for us at IFC, such a clear vision makes it much easier to come in as a partner to support your efforts to power the private sector to drive the recovery.
Financial consultant Charles Mensah is proposing another round of stimulus package, but wants it well targeted. Now, this follows a new report by the United Nations Development Programme and the Ghana Statistical Service, which calls for more support for businesses hit by COVID-19 shocks and of which are yet to recover. Mr. Mensah tells Joy Business that there must be a clear criteria for the firms that will benefit.
Much as I may agree to the second round of stimulus package, this time around, if we intend to help, it doesn't have to be on a wholesale way. We should pick specific industries, specific company, and then back them up. If you look at the pharmaceutical sector, it's an industry that have played a major role, especially with the COVID thing, has played a major role. So specifically, if you go to support the packaging of the drugs, the research, converting the research thing into mainstream, it helps. So I don't want to see a stimulus package where it's general, that we are giving 600 million to support SME. No, it should be, we are giving a certain amount to help companies in the agro-processing, for instance, or we are giving specific money to support people in the construction industry. Then we can follow. Now, if we don't do that, we generalize it. Yes, government may account for it and say we have spent 600 million cedis to help the industry. But unless we break it down, because especially we have a lot of unemployment, so which sector can pick more employment? And I know that agriculture sector is the best. As we speak, COVID or no COVID, people are still eating.
Now, inflation eased considerably by 1% to 7.5% in May, signaling a drop in cost of credit, all things being equal. The fall in inflation means that the rate at which prices of goods and services are increasing is slowing down. Now, food inflation, particularly fruit and vegetables as well as soft drinks, slowed down considerably in May, despite 7 subclasses recording inflation higher than the overall food inflation of 5.4%. Let's listen to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kopena-Ening, on this particular statistic.
CPI for May 2021 recorded 127.6 index relative to 118.6 that was recorded in the month of May 2021. This means that comparing the 127.6 for the month of May 2021 and 118.6 for the month of May 2021, prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.5%. This indicates a 1.0 percentage difference relative to the inflation, year-on-year inflation that was recorded for the month of April 2021. It will be recalled that on a year-on-year basis, inflation for the month of April 2021 was 8.5%, and on a year-on-year basis, inflation for the month of May 2021 was 7.5%. This indicates that general prices of goods and services comparing May 2020 to May 2021 have gone up by 7.5%. For emphasis, comparing May 2020 and May 2021, general prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.5%. On a month-on-month basis, the CPI for May 2021 was 127.6 relative to CPI for April 2021, 126.6.
And that's it for business.
We bring you showbiz because BB herself is
here. The best ever.
Hi, beautiful.
Hello to you. I shall remember that I told you about Kwame Yuji's case.
The fact that a Nigerian artist has sued him for plagiarism.
So what happened is we spoke to Richie. He's the label head, and he actually said that there's no case.
It's actually a foolish case.
Yeah, the guy doesn't have a case.
Media, a courthouse?
No.
What business has this got to do in the media? When somebody is suing somebody for a house or somebody is fighting over land ownership, do we come on the media and come and speculate on who is right or wrong?
I think usually what happens is that the person suing is capable of or can actually bring that information to the media.
So the moment somebody does that, then we should realize that the person is looking for attention. Because if the person was looking for a solution, you went to the right place, which is the court. So stay in court and get your solution. Why are you going to the media?
Has Kwame Eugene been sued by this artist?
So this artist has they've taken it to court. And our lawyer sent everything to show them that this case makes no sense. So it's up to the court to decide. Because we all know, and as I'm saying this, you can just go check. Go on Eugene's IG or even just Google Kwame Eugene Sound of Africa track list. You see it was released like a month before they even released their song. So there's no case.
Richie Mensah there.
Well, we'll see how it pans out in court.
Yeah.
I hope the judge listens to music.
Okay.
If it's a he or she, she'll be able to make sense of what's going on.
I noticed that she was singing Sapon song right before we came on air.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking that all the songs that Nana Bedieto, well, apparently he has so many gospel songs, and so, well, I'm just appealing to him to give you some of the songs.
Oh yes, we can do collabo.
But what's very interesting, Aisha, is that he wants to try, gospel music. This is new.
Let's see. He's a lawyer too, and a astute one at that.
It's my hobby. Oh, okay. Yes. So you do it as a hobby? I do it as a hobby. I've even recently, through a pastor friend of mine, Prophet Gideon of Empowerment, he encouraged me, and I've written a lot of gospel songs. I wanted to try that genre. Have a lot to say. I'm a Christian, and so I like different types of music, and it's what I do in my spare time. When I get home from work, I sit at my keyboard, I play, relax, take a shower, and go to bed.
Wow, Executive Secretary to the President. I'm amazed.
Interesting. He wants to do gospel.
Gospel music. Very interesting. We'll be looking forward to that.
We'll be looking forward, and we can do collabo, like BB said.
Yes, please. So this weekend on E-Vibes, join. That's what you'll be hearing. If he say
okay, now Bibieni wa Yehovah to me nyama Aisha Waidi Usenina Nyamini. You know how to get it. It's on E-Vibes.
Yeah, E-Vibes
before
this weekend.
News File.
Before our award-winning show.
And love it for showbiz. All right, you can get more on myjohnonline.com. There are a lot of updates on all the developing stories. Free SHS, quality of teaching and learning could be better. Achimota PTA chair, and there are other news headlines on myjohnonline.com. The news continues on Joy News. Now to the rest of our stories. A 34-year-old man is battling for his life at the 37 military hospital after he was shot by two suspected armed robbers this afternoon at a busy section of the Pig Farm roundabout. The robbers accosted the victim, fired 5 warning shots, and shot the man in the stomach.
So if you come here to the Pig Farm roundabout, the blood is still splattered on the road here. At this point, we have a man who we suspect to be from the investigation unit of the Ghana Police Service also here taking some details. We are told that the police came to the ground just about 30 minutes after the incident happened. They also tried to follow up on the incident, but they were unable to arrest the perpetrators.
We are here. So I finished eating here and I saw some 2 motorbikes coming from top. So I thought sometimes they have some their gas pow. So I thought is their gas. So they came and stand here, and the 2 guys were trying to put the bag out of the guy, and the guy resisted and he said no. So immediately the guy jumped from his motor and removed the bag out of his bag and opened the bag for them to see, and then they do not understand it, and they shoot the guy and they take the bag away. No. By that time, it seems there was only 2 cars. So they immediately, the time they were coming, no car, but immediately they come and stand here, they were, fighting, want to take the bag. So the 2 cars, they came and parked here and the other motors. So immediately they fired, the guy finished. The guy was lying there while the cars were passing, and the guy was lying there.
What I see, I'm just going to deliver this thing at how do you call it, Labadi, and I just hear a 2-gun warning shot. Po, 2. So after they stop the guy, the other biker, and they do what? They collected his bag and they shoot him 2 bullets. That's what I see. So after I see a police car was coming, and there's a lot of people here. So I saw a car was coming and they followed the biker. So they just gone. They just passed straight. That's what I see.
All of these people were here. The hawkers were also here when the incident happened. We've seen another police officer arriving here on the ground with the investigator. Understand that investigations would start right at this point. Speaking to some of the hawkers here and the people who work at the gas station here, many of them are terrified about the situation. They say they've never seen anything happen around this time in this busy area like this before. Many of them said they were helpless because the robbers actually had guns and they had.
The National Identification Authority says persons with challenges with their identification cards may have to pay 30 cedis to effect the correction. Corporate Affairs Officer Dora Bedu Echampon says that corrections will be effected alongside a new phase of registration for the Ghana card. The NIA has started issuing over 300,000 cards to individuals who did not receive theirs during the mass registration. Emmanuel Osei has more.
The NIA registered over 15 million persons for the National Identification Card. The Corporate Affairs Officer, Dora Bedu Echampon, says offices have been opened nationwide to allow all persons to access their national ID cards instantly. She says card bearers making changes on their cards will attract an amount of 30 Ghana cedis.
We are able to register over 50 million Ghanaians, and then issued cards, over 15 million cards to Ghanaians. Now, it's left with about 300,000 backlogs, Ghana cards, which were not issued. And that is what we've sent to all the districts across the country to issue to Ghanaians. And those with issues, maybe lost, damaged cards, people who want to correct maybe their names, the spelling of their names, any updates will start on the 5th of July. But if you're going to change any detail or any information on the Ghana card, that would change the face of what we see on the Ghana card. That will cost will attract a fee of 30 Ghana cedis. But for instance, let's say you've changed your residential address, or maybe you want to add, you've changed your telephone number and want to update or add, that will not attract any fee.
The NIA is starting another registration phase for the Ghana card. The exercise targets persons attaining 15 years and above, as well as those who failed to register in the last exercise. Corrections will take effect as part of the new registration.
From 5th July, next month, 5th July, our officers, people who were not able, 15 years and above, who were not able to register for the Ghana cards due to one reason or the other, could go to any of our offices and register.
Emmanuel Osei reporting from Kumasi.
The opposition NDC has described as unfortunate the decision of Supreme Court Judge Clemens Honyanuga not to recuse himself from criminal trial of former Cocoa Board CEO Dr. Stephen Opuni, despite allegations of bias. Justice Honyanuga is hearing the matter as an additional High Court judge. Dr. Opuni is accused of causing financial loss to the state and has been standing trial since 2017. Court correspondent Joseph Akable was in court as Justice Onyenuga dismissed his request that he recuses himself. He has been telling me about what transpired in court and some background information regarding the initial request to get the judge off the case.
This is the second time Dr. Opuni has filed such an application asking the judge to recuse himself from the trial. The first one was filed in March 2020 on the ground that the trial judge had openly campaigned for President Akufo-Addo for saying at a national program where the judge is a paramount chief that the current president has done well with the free senior high school program. The court dismissed that application. Lawyers for Dr. Opuni renewed their attempt to get Justice Onyenuga off the case after the judge held that the prosecution has been able to establish that Dr. Opuni has a case to respond to. The lawyers alleged bias on the part of the trial judge, stating Dr. Opuni may not be given adequate time to defend himself before the court and will not get a fair trial. He argued that after dismissing the submission of no case on May 7, 2021, the judge adjourned the matter to May 17 for him to open his defense instead of 2 weeks requested by his lawyers to adequately prepare him to open his defense. Justice Onyenuga dismissed the application, saying it was made in bad faith. The opposition NDC, Sami Jemfi, says the decision is unfortunate.
Look at the kind of statements, definite statements. I heard in court the prosecution saying that, the judge is entitled to make statements on whether or not the prosecution has established the ingredients of the offense for which the accused persons have been charged. But if you look at the statements, in my humble opinion, I agree with the prosecution with the accused persons that these statements went beyond the ingredients, and bordered on determination of facts, which, like I've said, gives all of us genuine cause for concern, that the accused persons may not have a fair hearing. The judge has ruled, but that decision is appealable.
The case has been adjourned to June 14, where Dr. Opuni is expected to open his defense.
Paramount chiefs of Aplau and Some traditional areas in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region have urged government to ensure the contractor working on the sea defense project along the coastline of the municipality returns the site in 3 months to avert another calamity. The chiefs believe that if the project is not completed immediately, life may become unbearable for residents. Volta regional correspondent Ivy Setoji interacted with chiefs and some residents of the community and has come through with this report.
Most communities along the coastline of the Ketu South municipality were heavily affected by the recent tidal waves that hit the area. Paramount chiefs of Aplau and Some traditional areas, Tobi Fiti V and Markoso Tobi Adama III, during a visit to the affected areas, revealed that the next wave was likely to strike in 3 months. They therefore called on the government to get the contractor working on the sea defense project to return to the site to avert another calamity.
You are seeing the physical evidence of what I was saying, that just a stone, the sea is going to wash away the main road linking Keta and Aplau. And when it happens, the sea will enter into the lagoon, and that will flood out to Akbozuma, and all the environment to Aflau also will get its shares. My senior brother Tobi Fititu is here because what is happening here tomorrow can be his turn. So we are here adding our voice together, appealing to the government to come to our aid immediately. There is no time. 2 to 3 months from now, if this thing is not done, it will be a serious disaster than this. The sea defense that was stopped is just there. You can see it yourself. That has caused here to be destroyed by the sea because of the sea defense that was left. So we are still appealing.
Here's an affected resident who spoke to Joy News. The sharing of the relief items was not done transparently, but I leave everything to God.
So what will you be doing this Friday, June 11th? Well, government is asking you to grab a seedling and help plant 5 million trees in one day. This will be your contribution to what has been dubbed the Green Ghana project, aimed at reversing the depletion of our forest cover. As at today, Ghana has lost 80% of its forest cover to various activities, including illegal mining and logging. The Ministry of Lands has put together a 5-year plan which will be initiated on June 11 by the planting of a commemorative tree by President Akufo-Addo. But that will be a drop in the ocean in solving the problem. So the ministry is encouraging you to help it reach its target. Benita Bubeido Lanza has more in the following report.
Climate change, increased greenhouse gases, low crop yields and flooding are some effects of deforestation. Speaking at a news conference Wednesday, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, said Ghana has lost 80% of its 8,200,000 hectares of forest cover. This leaves us with only 1,600,000 hectares.
This is, to say the least, alarming. And therefore, the time for action is now. We've come to this point essentially through years of systematic degradation and forest degradation without the commensurate afforestation. The experts will tell you that we have utilized our forest cover or our forest resources unsustainably. The issues of small-scale mining and depletion of our forest cover, the harvesting of our trees in a very unsustainable manner, it's brought us to this point.
The good news is you can be part of the solution to this problem. The Lands Minister explains how.
We want to awaken our country for all of us to understand and appreciate the need for tree planting. So the seedlings are going to be distributed to all Forestry Commission district offices, their regional offices, various malls across the country. The National Theatre in Accra will have seedlings, the ministries, and vantage points, the places where public places of our country, markets, and so on and so forth. And these seedlings are going to be available. And the expectation is that you walk to a point where you find a seedling, you pick the seedling, there will be guidelines as to how you plant the tree, and you plant the tree. When you plant the tree, we expect that you also take it upon yourself to nurture the tree until it gets to maturity. As part of the program is that we are seeking to work out a formula where the trees which will be planted will be economic trees. So we are talking about timber, we're talking about wawa, we're talking about neem, we're talking about rosewood, we're talking about shade trees.
You're also encouraged to take a selfie while you're planting a tree and post on social media to encourage others. The day will begin with President Akufo-Addo planting a commemorative tree at the Jubilee House. The Speaker of Parliament and Chief Justice will also lead their sectors to plant trees. Traditional heads like the Asantehene and Ochehene will do same. Students will also be involved through the One Student, One Tree initiative. The project is also receiving monetary support and commitment from churches, diplomatic missions, organizations, and individuals. The Green Ghana Day is part of the larger Green Ghana project, which is expected to last between 4 to 5 years. So don't forget to put this on your calendar. Green Ghana, let's go planting.
Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Asan has tasked MMDCEs in the region to own the tree planting exercise by monitoring all institutions that have taken seedlings from the Forestry Commission and make sure they plant them. The regional minister says the exercise to Green Ghana should be the responsibility of everyone in the region, as it has both generational and present benefits. Justina Marigold Asan was speaking at the presentation of more seedlings to the Regional Coordinating Council ahead of the tree planting exercise on June 11. Richard Kwejonyaku has more.
The Forestry Commission intends planting 5 million seedlings, and already many institutions across the central region have begun owning the exercise. The University of Cape Coast, for instance, is ready to plant nearly 70,000 seedlings on that day, while many churches have positioned themselves to join in greening Ghana.
Central Regional Minister Justina Marigodasan is charging the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies to lead a charge as they monitor to ensure that the exercise becomes a success.
Thankfully, we were assigned 400,000 seedlings, but we've exceeded that 400,000 seedlings. They are now giving us 550,000 seedlings, and this is a beautiful exercise. We are going to ask the various MMDAs to seriously partner this exercise so that all institutions that are taking the seedlings will really plant them and make sure they will follow it up to know where exactly they are planting them. Anybody who will take the seedlings, their details will be taken, and then where they are even planting, and we'll also encourage them to really nest the seedlings. You can't just go and put it there and go home. You need to really nest the seedlings to grow. We really need to green Ghana.
Regional Manager of the Forestry Commission, Michael Pentel, who led a team to present more of the seedlings to the Regional Coordinating Council, says they have set up seedling distribution centers across the region to ensure that whoever craves of planting seedlings is not hampered.
All those who collect the seedlings, we record their details, their names, their phone numbers. We even ask where they are going to plant. In some areas, if they are able to give us GPS locations, we take it. The rationale for that is that after the 11th, we will have teams going around based on the data we have to find out how the seedlings are faring. Because the onus is on those who collected the seedlings to ensure that they do well. And if there are any remedial actions we can do, if they are not doing well, then we'll do it. So in a nutshell, we came to report that the seedling stock is ready. We have distributed almost 80%. And we want to also formally present the seedlings to you for the whole world to know that we are ready for 11th June.
District Manager for the Cape Coast District, Cynthia Okine, says her outfit is in touch with many women to get on board the tree planting exercise on that day.
People are rushing in for the seedlings, the fruit seedlings, and what have you. So we are very much ready for 11th June. We know that Central Region, Cape Coast will not disappoint. We liaised with a lot of stakeholders, the Catholic Church, the EPA, the secondary schools, Adu School, Augustine, so everybody is involved.
The region, the Commission says, is almost set for the 11th of June, and they are confident the targets of the region to plant nearly 600,000 seedlings would be exceeded. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejunya, Cape Coast.
The National Road Safety Authority says it's pushing a legislative instrument that will regulate tanker drivers in the country. This initiative, they explain, is part of the authority's efforts to reduce road crashes and deaths that occur as a result of tankers. The NRSA has therefore met with oil marketing companies to deliberate on the initiative. Judith Awochetando was at the meeting and our report.
Trucks account for many of the accidents recorded on Ghana's highways. Just within the first quarter of this year, over 9,000 crashes have been recorded, out of which 830 involved trucks alone. This includes the incidents that reduced to ashes many homes in the entire Onyinamnofo community 2 weeks ago after a tanker explosion. For some drivers, tankers under the current regime remain a big nuisance on the country's roads.
You see, tanker drivers are always in hurry for the roadside because they think their vehicle is too strong. So anytime if tanker drivers driving on the road, they don't mind anything. They used to go speed anyhow.
Especially on the motorway, when you use the motorway a lot, they are always, one will be on the left and then the other will be on the right. So for you to overtake, it's very difficult. Instead that they all be on the outer lane so that you'll be able to overtake and go. They are on the left lane, like they don't want you to bypass them. So it's very, very bad.
The National Road Safety Authority is, however, keen on changing this reality. The authority has met with key stakeholders in the oil marketing industry to deliberate on details of a legislative instrument they issued to regulate tanker drivers. May Obriyeboa is Director General of the NRSA.
The legislative instrument is to help operationalize the Act 993, that's the National Road Safety Authority Act. So this is a document that to spell out the actions that we need to take so that we'll be able to achieve whatever we said in our act. So you see that in it, it will tell us the details.
Head of Communications at the NRSA, Kwame Tuahene, further explained some interventions that have been put in place to ensure tankers comply with road safety protocols.
They introduce vehicles. The vehicles have to be safe. Drivers there's a need to have special competencies because they haul hazardous goods. The drivers may have to be continuously trained. The vehicles must have a consistent maintenance program and all of it. They are not any different from the other colleagues that transport passengers. The only difference is that they deal with goods.
A representative from Galaxy Oil, Victor Omari Date, shares his reactions.
It's a good development because road safety is a collective responsibility. All of us use the roads, so if the roads are better and safer, that is good for us as people and good for business. So that is well and good. Where we would want them to look at, like we've discussed this, look at collaborating with other state agencies like the NPA, because some of the rules they're espousing now are already being done by the NPA and other state agencies.
Judith Awotretando, Joy News.
The Senior Staff Strike Association of Universities of Ghana have refused to return to work after the National Labour Commission ordered them to do so. The National Labour Commission says the striking workers must return to work as government tries to resolve their claims. Joy News checks today at the University of Ghana Basic School revealed the school is using FUSAC teachers, interns and national service persons to manage whilst the substantive teachers are away. My colleague Kwekwa Sante has more.
More than 24 hours after the National Labour Commission ordered striking Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana to return to work, members of the association were yet to return to the classroom at the time of filing this report. The Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana have declared an indefinite strike over what it describes as poor conditions of service. But the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah, insists majority of the demands of the workers have been met.
Whilst negotiations are going on, meetings have been held, other meetings have been scheduled to be held to resolve the problem. It is unfortunate that one party will decide to go on strike, especially when in the course of negotiation, some of the issues have been resolved.
Joy News checks Wednesday at the University of Ghana Basic School showed that the school was relying on FUSAC teachers, interns and national service persons. Headmaster of the University of Ghana Basic School, Mr. Alfred Kujo Alote, says the strike is affecting the smooth operation of the school.
It was an initial strike action where we had to close down for about 3 weeks. And so we felt that pushing away the academic calendar for another number of weeks was going to actually put our activities into disarray. So what we did as a stopgap measure was to deploy a certain category of teachers into the classrooms. And so, as I had mentioned earlier, we are using our teachers who belong to FUSAC. We are using class assistants. By class assistants, I mean some category of staff that have diploma in basic education, and we've taken on as assistants for the KG department and class 1. So they are handling the classes in the absence of the substantive teachers. We're also using national service personnel who are with us, and also student teachers from University of Education, University of Cape Coast and University of Ghana. Because really biting. I mean, it's hitting us in terms of supervision of children and all that. You know, the service personnel aren't many, and so it's a bit difficult.
The headmaster also wants government to speedily resolve the concerns of the association so the members can return to the classroom.
Would also want to add that probably the government quickens its reaction to whatever thing they are requesting for, and I think that when that is done, it will help all of us in the system. And so we only, as I said, we are adding our voice to their request, so the government will meet their request as early as possible that we resume and have the full complement of staff.
Students at the K University Basic School, for instance, have had to stay home as a result of the strike, whilst at the UCC Basic School, students have been idling due to the unavailability of teachers.
The strike has affected our teachers, and some of them are not even coming to school. So I will appeal to the government that they should try and stop the strike and pay them with their money so that we can get learning effective.
The teachers are gone, and as we are in the class, we are not doing anything. All we are doing is fooling, and one day will not get any job to do.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has cautioned members of Parliament their immunity as contained in Articles 117 and 118 of the Constitution are not absolute. He says the Constitution allows the courts to serve court processes on MPs who are not attending to the business of Parliament. In a formal communication to MPs earlier today, Mr. Bagbin disclosed it has come to his attention that some MPs during recess, they were not engaged in business of the House, evaded attempts by court officials to serve processes on them. He says that should not be the case and is calling for mutual respect between the legislature and the judiciary.
Honourable members, without a doubt, the immunity from service of processes is necessary to prevent the use of such processes to impede the work of Parliament. This should, however, not be understood to mean that honourable members cannot be served at all with any processes from outside Parliament. Honourable members, as important as the privileges and immunities provided by the Constitution are to secure Parliament's role in our democracy, the Constitution also contemplates that the arms of government will be committed to ensuring that our practices promote a workable government and democracy. In this sense, the constitutional privileges and immunities must not be abused nor asserted to frustrate its very purpose of promoting our democracy. Honourable members, it is in this regard that I must bring to your attention the fact that the immunity enjoyed by the Speaker, members of Parliament, and Clerk to Parliament are not absolute anytime, anywhere, and any day. As such, when Parliament is not in session or a member of Parliament is not on his way to attending at or returning from the business of Parliament, such a member may be served a court process and may appear as a witness in the court proceeding. I want this to be given the highest publication for the guidance of the public, and particularly the police service, as to how to conduct their activities when it comes to members of Parliament. As I sit here, I gathered information that some members were arrested, were prosecuted, and they are before court without any notice to the Speaker. This cannot continue. Even when a member is alleged to have committed an offense and being investigated, the Speaker must be given notice. Because some of the rights that we have are termed immunities, and those immunities are absolute.
We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. We'll bring you the second part of business and sports.
In business, the Internal Audit Institute is pushing for a charter within a year or two that will benchmark performance of internal auditors against global best practices in governance, risk and control. Some internal auditors pre-notified the boards of financial institutions that collapsed during the financial sector crisis, but unfortunately, no action was taken in most instances. The president of the institute, Daniel Kwampa, spoke to Joy Business at the virtual annual National Internal Audit and Governance Conference. There is more in this report.
Mr. Kwampa said the Internal Audit Agency will not condone unlawful practices by members, hence the implementation of standards and best practices. According to him, the charter will seek to reposition internal auditors as professionals with integrity. He therefore called on government and other stakeholders to willfully support the institute in this endeavor.
What we're trying to achieve is to get an act of parliament and be recognized as a chartered institute, just like any other profession, ICA, Ghana, Medical Association, law and all that. That is what we are working on right now, to get our charter so that we can have that leverage to really engage with our members and then run it as a professional body. And then, like how ICA investigated those banks and came up with the disciplinary measures, yes, we can also apply that kind of measure to ensure that our members uphold the ethics of the profession.
Mr. Kwampa also urged internal auditors, particularly those in the public sector, to up their game and exhibit professionalism all the time.
As an institute, we deal with both the public and the private sector. And I can confirm that most of our members are from the public sector. And we think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the public sector in terms of building the capacity of internal auditors, developing their skills, their proficiency, getting them to certify as internal auditors, get a professional certification for internal auditors. And then also we need to get the stakeholders in the public sector to appropriately place the internal audit to such that they give them some level of autonomy, because even though they are part of the organizations, they are supposed to be independent.
The theme for this year's conference is to explore and innovate in a disruptive environment. The conference has over 400 participants from across Ghana and Africa.
Now, even though the U.S. has opened a duty-free export regime for Ghanaian businesses under the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, Ghana's export community is yet to feel the impact of this initiative. Speaking earlier on the Marketplace, Director of Research and International Cooperation at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Maxwell Kusi, lamented that Ghana's business environment still poses some challenges for enterprises to export under AGOA. According to him, these challenges are currently being addressed under the National Export Development Strategy.
It's good that we have the AGOA, but the impact so far has not been felt due to some homework that we have to do. At the moment, we are looking at the National Export Strategy that can look at how we can take advantage of the AGOA. Initially, there were issues of trade enabling environment where our exporters can take advantage. Also, we think that for us to maximally benefit from AGOA, there must be a foreign direct investment, which we have promoted since AGOA came into being. There are also fiscal reforms and monetary policy that affect our entrepreneurs and our business people. In addition to that, the U.S. full compliance system, everybody knows that we need to go through a certain rigorous, and we need companies that are, all these are the challenges that affect our companies that they cannot take advantage. In addition to the capacity building that we have to do to our people. Initially, we have trained them to be able to take advantage of that, but some enabling environment, not all that perfect for them to take advantage. That is why we have not fully taken advantage of that.
Now, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies says its members cannot be blamed for the increase in fuel prices. Of course, they're stating that the prices are adjusted anytime there is a change on the international market. According to the association's chief executive, Kweku Ejimandria, at best, the OMCs can be sensitive to consumers anytime there is an upward adjustment in petrol products.
We are not a charity organization to begin with. We are a business. And you must appreciate the fact that the first time when the prices for the taxes were increased, we had an equal measure of price increase. The next window, the prices were going up in the world market. We didn't do anything. We were quiet because we were sensitive to the issue of the fact that, 4 weeks running and you're going to increase the price too much on the consumers. So we swallowed it. Now, but remember, we cannot continue swallowing as we move along. At some point, we may have to come back again and increase the price. As of now, our cedi-dollar relationship is fine. We don't have problems with that. The only thing we can make it go up is the international price. If it goes up, then obviously we have to respond. But we are very sensitive to consumers' interest because the price increase in fuel is very inflationary. So we really don't want to get there. If gradually it's coming down, you will not feel it. Okay. It has been an issue of trading. Okay. Because you may have to go back and buy. And if your stock has not finished, you can price lower, you lose. Okay. So you have to go and get a new one. But be as it may, but if it's consistently going down, given the deregulation environment, the price will go down. We witness that. I can show you graphs.
Let's now bring you international business news. Well, that'll be it for business. Sport is up next to stay.
Thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you the second installment of Sports. I am Hans Mensah Ando. The Deputy Youth and Sports Minister designate Evans Opoku-Bobie has revealed the country could consider multiple cities to host the 2023 Africa Games. Speaking at his vetting on Tuesday, he said the country is working to be ready to host the 53 other African countries that will join Ghana for the 2023 Africa Games.
Ghana will be hosting the 13th edition of All African Games, where 54 countries will be participating in 25 sporting disciplines. The briefing that I have received from our minister indicates that land has been secured at Borteman for the construction of the stadium. Also, the ministry has plans to use existing facilities, i.e. Babarara Sports Stadium is being renovated, or Hinijan, Bukom Boxing Arena. All these facilities are being worked on so that we can also use them. And then the ministry also has plans to use the University of Ghana hostel facilities to accommodate the participating teams. And so when I receive your nod, I will support him to pursue all these activities. Thank you.
That's it for sport. There is more at myjoyonline.com/sport. I am Hans Mensah, and many thanks for your time.
And as I wrap up the bulletin tonight, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com for all the updates of the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our program.